All right, lesson 5.1, solving systems of linear equations. I want you to write this at the top of your notebook paper and take very good notes. Landon, if you're listening to this at home, which I really hope you are, I want you to take just as good notes as well. Now, Chevelle just told me linear equations are equations that graph lines. What is the formula for a linear equation?
Y equals mx plus b.
Yes, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, right? If we are solving a system of linear equations, that means we are going to be given two equations. And you are going to solve to where these two lines cross in the middle.
Hey, that's called the y-intercept.
That's where it crosses the y-axis.
Well,
but
this is called an intercept.
it's where they intersect, right? I want you to find where two lines intersect. Where two lines intersect, it'll probably be a point, like something comma something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. To do that, we're going to do some real life problems. All right, you ready? Okay, number 1. I'm on page 202. Activity 1. Your family decides to start a bed and breakfast hotel company, okay? Now, to do this, you have to spend $500 to fix up one of the bedrooms so that people can stay in your house, okay? Now, also, if somebody's staying at your bed and breakfast, it's going to cost you $10 per night for food and utilities. Do you know what utilities are?
Yeah,
Like
electrical,
toothbrush.
water.
Okay, so electrical,
Toilet.
water. Yeah, every time you flush your toilet, that's your utility bill, right? What else is utilities? Internet, right? So what I found is for me to build this bed and breakfast. You guys know what a bed and breakfast is? It's like a hotel kind of. People stay the night, and then the people who own the house feed them breakfast in the morning. It's
like
kind of like a
Airbnb?
cutesy. Yeah, it's like a cutesy little hotel. Okay. So if I want to start this business, I have to spend $500 to fix this room. And I know it's going to cost me $10 a night for these people due to feeding them and all that other stuff, right?
That's cheap.
That's how much I have for cost, correct? Now, I have found that if I get all this working, I can charge a family or a person who's staying there $60 per night to rent out that bedroom, okay? When would I eventually break even? Do you know what I mean by break even?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
When you keep adding up and you'll have the same number.
Okay, so I have to put money into my business before I can have a business, correct? Eventually, I should be able to make enough money that my business is actually giving me profit.
I can't remember when we did this.
You've done something like this, right? There are two equations that represent this. Can you guys tell me what the equation is that represents the cost that it takes for me to have this business?
C.
How much? Yeah, so C equals what?
10.
$10 a night. Do I know how many nights somebody's staying?
No.
So it's going to be 10 times X.
Yeah.
X represents how many nights?
Yeah.
Plus, how much money do I have to put into the bedroom?
$500.
$500. Sorry, my plus sign looks kind of crazy right there. That's my cost. Now I have another equation, my revenue. Revenue means how much money I make. Okay? My other equation is going to be revenue, which is R. How much money am I charging per night? $60 per night for somebody to stay there? What I want us to find out is, when will I finally be making money off of this little business endeavor that I'm doing? I think about my best friend. I have a best friend who went to cosmetology school right after high school. What's cosmetology school?
Isn't it like the hairs? And
Yeah, hair, lashes, skin. It's when you go in for beauty school, right? After cosmetology school, she started to work for people. She didn't make a whole lot of money. I mean, if you're working for someone, you just make the very, very least amount of money you can make, right? She was getting bored of that, so she decided, you know what? I'm going to open up my own salon. Before she could open up her own salon, she had to go through all of the things that it's going to cost. She has to rent a building. to have a salon in. She has to buy all the things that are in a salon, like the chairs, the mirrors, the washing, everything, the sinks, blow dryers, tons, right? Brushes. She had to also talk about her utilities. She has to figure out how much the internet's going to be, how much the water bill is going to be, how much the garbage bill is going to be, how much, really, there's a lot that goes into it, correct? So after she went through this huge list and found all of her costs, she found out she could put in, let's say, like $10,000. It's going to cost her $10,000 to start her own business. When would she finally make $10,000 after, people start coming to her?
Depends on how much she charges.
Exactly.
No, it would be how much she charges divided by the $10,000.
You got to get rid of that $10,000. So what I want to find is, where do we break even?
Yeah.
When is my bill of $10,000 paid off so that I can take all the money that I'm starting to come in and I'll make profit, right?
So
if you don't make profit right away, your business is going to fail. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Because you can't be in debt for months and months and months and months and months and expect your business to flourish.
Yeah.
You've got to find that break-even point, and you have to find it quick, right? So think of that exact same situation for this business. I'm starting up a bed and breakfast. I put $500 into it, plus I know it's going to be $10 per night every time I have a person over. That's a lot of money. However, if I have somebody stay the night, I get $60. Eventually, those will add up, and I'll find my break-even point, where then my debts are paid, and I will start making an income. Okay? Do you see our two equations we've come up with?
Yes.
Okay. See this table?
Yes.
We're going to fill out this table based on those two equations. So write down this table. I know that might take a hot minute, but go ahead and draw that table. Separate it into 3 different rows. We have an X row, we have a C row, and we have an R row. All right, Landon, I hope you're copying this table down in your notebook as well. Give everybody a moment to do it. What this table wants you to do is they want you to plug in these numbers for X in both equations, and then tell me what C and tell me what R would equal. X stands for the number of nights somebody has stayed in that room. So if somebody stayed in that room for 0 nights, let's go plug that 0 in for these X's. What is 10 times 0? 0. What's 0 plus 500?
500.
So what is my cost? Okay, so now go back down here, and for C, write 500. So if I have nobody staying there, it costs me $500 to make this room, correct? Okay. Now same thing, put the 0 in for the R. What is 60 times 0?
0.
Okay, so R equals 0. Which makes sense. If I have nobody staying in that room, will I make an income? No. R is my income. Stands for revenue. Yep, revenue, very good. Now let's fill in the 1. If somebody stays 1 night, what's the cost? So plug in a 1 for X.
$60.
You're close. Put a 1 right here. What's 1 times 10?
10.
What's 10 plus 500?
Oh,
510.
510? So what's the cost of one person staying that night?
510.
$510?
Yes.
Well, now I'm getting some money. One person stayed the night. How much money did I get?
$10.
Well, look at my revenue. R equals 60 times X. Put a 1 in for X.
660.
How much money did I make that night? I made $60. Somebody stayed in my room for a night. All right. Let's say that person decides to stay 2 nights. Now how much does it cost for them to stay there for 2 nights?
1,200.
Well, plug the 2 in.
1,020.
Plug the 2 in for this X right here. What is 2 times 10? What is 20 plus 500?
520.
520.
So
You gotta add 'em.
go up 10. Every one.
Oh, Chevelle sees a pattern. Chevelle, what's the pattern you see for the cost?
You go up 10 every.
So can I fill in the rest of the cost knowing that pattern?
Mhm.
This would be 530, 540, 550, 560, 570, 580, 590, 600, 610.
And then does the revenue like
What is it going to keep going up by? Let's check. Let's put, yeah, you're right. Let's put that 2 in for the X for revenue. What's 60 times 2?
120?
120? What's 3 times 60?
180.
180? What's the pattern that you guys see for the R? What's it going up by?
60.
60s. Can I just keep adding 60 to each of these?
Yeah.
Okay. What's 180 plus 60?
240.
240?
I think so.
240, you got it. What's 240 plus 60?
320.
Ooh, you're close.
Is it?
A 4 and a 6 make a 10.
Oh, so 300.
300, very good. What's 300 plus 60?
360.
360. What's 360 plus 60?
420.
420. What's 420 plus 60?
500.
Nope.
480.
480,
Oh, yeah.
very good.
Yes.
And then 480 plus 60?
540.
Very good, 540. What's 540 plus 60?
600.
And then what's 600 plus 60?
660.
There we go. Okay. Oh, that was a lot of numbers. But looking at that little graph or that little chart right there, what that is saying,
Oh, I know we're reading that out.
where did we break even?
10.
10, what does 10 represent? 10
It's the
as the X. X represented what? Do you remember?
fiction.
How many nights a person stays?
Oh yeah.
So if I have somebody staying 10 nights, or not just one person staying 10 nights, if I have 10 different people staying one night, that's 10 total, right?
Yeah.
So,
I will finally break even at 10 nights.
so you get $600.
So what it's saying is it would cost me $600, right?
Yeah.
But how much money did I make if there was 10 nights? 600. So I'd break even. In other words, I didn't make any money, but I also didn't lose any money.
Yeah.
What about 11 nights? What happens?
You
gain
go up.
$50.
Do I finally make some profit?
Yes.
$50.
I make 50 bucks. Holy smokes. That's a lot of work. Huh?
60.
Yeah, I only make 60 bucks.
Yeah, because you also have to.
I still have to, 50 bucks.
Extra money.
Because look at my cost. My cost is $610 for 11 nights.
So you have $50.
I still have, and then I would get $660, so I would get 50 bucks to for myself. It would take me 11 nights before I'd finally make $50. Interesting, right? This right here is called your break even. When your Y's equal the same thing, you broke even. Your answer is when you finally have the same number in both your Y's, okay? Okay. Now, could I graph this?
Yeah.
I really could, couldn't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
I don't want you guys to graph it, but I would like you to watch me graph it, okay? On the next page, they gave me a nice little graph. Do you see what the rate is? Do you see how these are going by ones? And these are going by what?
100.
Yeah, it's going up by 100, but each of these intervals are what?
200.
50. What's right here?
Middle.
50.
Yeah.
100. 150. 200. 250. 300, right? I'm going to go plot some points. I'm going to go back to my table. When I was at 0 nights, how much money did I get?
0.
0?
Then wait, wouldn't you get like negative 500?
We're graphing the cost. Sorry, I needed to tell you that. We're graphing the cost. So look at the cost. Cost is C, correct?
Yeah.
At 0 nights, how much did it cost for me?
500.
So let's go back to this and graph 0, 500. Where is 0, 500? over 0, up 500. So it starts right here. I'm going to erase that first point that I made. That means on night 0, did I make any money at all?
No.
But how much did I spend?
500.
Yep. Now I'm going to skip around a little bit because the intervals are a little crazy. Could I now go to, I'm going to go to 550 next because I actually have those crosshairs. On night 5, how much did it cost me?
550.
550. So now I'm going to go back to my table. I'm going to go to night 5, which is right here. And it cost me how much?
550.
Oh boy. So I'm going to go from here all the way to here. Is that 550?
Yes.
Okay. On night 10, what did I have?
600.
Okay, so I'm going to go to night 10 and go up to 600. Let's see, 10, 600 right here.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to try my gosh darned hardest to actually draw a line through these. Close enough?
Yep.
That is just my first line. A system of linear equations has 2 or more lines, okay?
So now you have to do how much they give you.
Can I show you something real quick?
Yeah.
Looking at this line, what's the y-intercept?
500.
Which of these, let me grab my laser pointer, which of these 2 equations has a y-intercept of 500?
The C.
Let's see, did I literally just graph this?
Yeah.
Does this look like y equals mx plus b?
Yes.
It is. How about this? Does this look like y equals mx plus b?
Yes.
No.
What are we missing?
Plus B.
If I'm missing a plus b, what can I assume?
Good. 0.
Yes. The y-intercept is.
0.
So can I now go graph this equation, r equals 60x, over here?
Yes.
Let's do it. I'll rewrite it over here so I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. R equals 60x. Austin tells me there's no y-intercept. That means it must be 0. So, start at 0. I'm going to pick a different color, green. Start at 0. That's my y-intercept. What's the slope?
Up 1 over 60.
Close.
Or up 60 over 1.
Very good. It's 60 over 1, right? So I'm going to go up 60. It's kind of hard. It's going to be about right here. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Up 60 over 1. Okay, another 60 would be, ooh. Do you see how these are not landing nicely on the crosshairs?
Yeah.
This is why I'm going to go back to my graph. I'm going to find out where they do land nicely on the crosshairs, okay?
300.
So on 5, go to 300.
Yeah.
Okay, so on night 5, go to 300. Right here.
Yeah.
Where's another one that lands in the crosshairs nicely?
600.
Yeah, that'd be the next one. So on night 10, go to 600. Oh, what do you guys notice?
That they cross lines.
Hey! Is that where they crossed?
Yes.
Is that where they broke even?
Yes.
All right, wish me luck on this line.
Oh, that one's good.
Hold it still. According to this graph, I will not make any money. Green is good. Green is money I'm making. Red is money I'm losing.
Yes.
I will not make any money until night 10. On night 10, my graph starts to show me that my green is now where I'm making money. Okay?
Right.
Technically, I'm not even making money this night either, am I?
No.
I'm just not losing money. I'll start making money on night 11 right here and on forever.
Yeah.
Good. Interesting, right? If, just hypothetically, if I gave you 2 equations and I said, what is the solution? What you'd be doing is you're graphing them. You're finding out where they meet in the middle. Okay? If I want to find out where they meet in the middle, my answer is the point at which they meet in the middle. What is the point at which these 2 meet in the middle?
It's 10.
10 comma
600.
600. So my actual true answer is 10 comma 600. Your answer is going to be in a point. Okay? Okay, I know that was a little complex, but let's do some together. Okay? Are you ready? You have to write all of these down. First one I want you to write down. Y equals 4/3 x plus 1.2 and then y equals negative 1.7x,
Like away from each other.
just like how they wrote them here, one on top of the other,
Yeah.
just like that. Okay. If you see two equations like this, the first thing I need you to ask yourself is, are they in slope-intercept form? So in your notes,
They are.
very good. In your notes, put a little like asterisk. I'm going to give you some steps, okay? Step number 1. Are they in mx plus b form? That's the first thing you have to ask yourself, because sometimes they're not, and you have to change them to be in that form. Are they in mx plus b? Once you ask yourself that, then here's what you need to do. I'll wait till you guys are ready. You have two options. You may either make a table like we did here and find where they break
Table.
even,
Table.
or you may graph them like we did here and find where they meet and touch.
Now.
Okay? So the next asterisk I want you to write is either make a table or graph them. And see where they cross.
How do you spell I?
Either it's with an E, I think. E.
It is E-I-T-H-E-R. Either make a table or graph them, see where they cross.
I did not.
E-I-T-H-E-R.
All right, since we're kind of running out of time, what I'd like to do right now is go over some of the homework before we do this problem. Just a little bit. Go ahead and get me a new piece of paper. We're going to do our homework. So I want you to write at the top of your page 5.1. Ready? 5.1. And then underneath it, I want you to write page 204 to 205. Numbers, number sign, 1 through 6. That's it. Let's do number 1 together. I'm on page 204. Your homework are the on your own problems at the bottom of the page, okay? Okay, number 1. Solve the system of linear equations. You guys liked the table best, didn't you?
Yeah.
Can I teach you how to do a table on your own?
You can just see it better instead of having to go through the little.
Yes.
tiny-
Can't you do just the thing that we did? Like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me teach you how to do it so that you remember how to do it every time. First thing you're going to do is draw me a nice rectangle. Once you've drawn me this nice rectangle, please split it into thirds this way, horizontally. You need 3 rows. And then go ahead and give me a little slice right there. Now here's where you got to be careful. That top one is your x's, okay?
X, C, and R.
Nope, C and R was cost and revenue for that one problem. We don't have a C and an R anymore.
So,
Now it's just Y and Y, right? I'm going to write Y and Y, but I'm also going to color code them so you guys can kind of keep them in, keep which one is which, right? So this is yellow Y and this is yellow Y, and then this will be green Y and this will be green Y, okay?
Okay.
Okay, now the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write 0. If x was 0, what would yellow y be?
0.
Plug 0 in for x on yellow y's equation.
0.
What's 0 minus 1? Look right here. Plug 0 in for right here.
All
Minus
right.
1 is 1.
Yeah, what's 0 minus 1?
-1.
So yellow y would equal -1. Now if I plug a 0 in for the green y equation, what's 0? Because there's no such thing as -0.
It'd be 1.
Look at the green y. It's 0 plus 3.
So 3.
3. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, now I do.
You plug a 0 in for this x, right? What is 0 plus 3?
3.
No.
3. Okay, now let's plug in a 1 for my x. I'm going to draw a line, put a 1. If my x was 1, what would my yellow equation equal?
It'd be 1 minus 1
0.
is 0.
0!
And then 4.
If my x was 1 on my green equation, signs are different, so we...
Subtract.
What's 3 minus 1?
Oh. 2. Sorry.
2. Positive 2 because 3 is positive and it's a bigger number. All right, we're not breaking even yet, are we?
Nope.
Nope. What happens if x was 2? What is
1?
2 minus 1 is 1. Very good. What's negative 2 plus 3? Signs are different, so we
1.
subtract.
Sorry.
What's 3 minus 2?
1.
1.
Positive or negative?
Positive.
Oh, what do you guys see?
That's where they-
I see.
I see what? I see I broke even.
Yeah.
As soon as my y's are the same number, I'm done. But now, my final answer has to be an ordered pair. An ordered pair is like x comma y.
1, 1.
Close, that would be y comma y. What was my x when I finally broke even?
2.
2, so my x will be a 2.
2, 1.
Yes, my y's are all the same, so it doesn't matter which one I pick, correct?
Yeah.
2 comma 1.
Y's aren't all the same.
Well, my y's are the same where I broke even, right here. Right?
How did you straighten it?
I don't know, I just did it on its own. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, let's do another one.
That's kind of cool.
It is pretty cool. Do you guys want to do a table for this one as well?
No, can we do that on our own?
This one on your own?
Yeah.
There was one that I did want to do with you because if you do a table with it, it's kind of an interesting problem. So I would like you to do, how about you guys start number 2? Start it, we'll check with you, okay? They gave you a curve ball on one of these, and I want you to know how to do it, okay? Hey guys, do you remember when I made you write those asterisks in your notebook? What was the first asterisk?
It was...
Make sure that they are
Yeah, you're right.
the same. Oh, make sure that
they're
they're y
the...
equals mx plus b.
Are both of these equations, this one right here and this one right here, are they in y equals mx plus b?
Yes.
Okay, so we're good.
Yes, they are.
I want you to keep habit of that because sometimes they're not gonna be, okay? Okay, so go ahead and get started. You guys want to make tables?
Yeah. So if you plug a 0 in for the top x, is the 5 gonna turn into a 0?
Yeah, because what's anything times 0?
0.
So it's all going to be 0.
Negative
0
5 will
plus
be gone.
14.
It's 0 plus 14, yep.
Or is it 0 times? No, plug it
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys can look up here. Plugging in a 0 for x. If I plug in a 0 for x for the yellow equation, what happens?
Then it cancels all that stuff out, and then you just have 0 plus 14.
Wonderful. What is 0 plus 14?
14.
Good. So yellow y is 14. If I plug a 0 in for green y's equation,
Negative.
It'd be
Ooh.
negative 10.
very good.
Wait, how is that 14?
For yellow y, so if I plug a 0 in right here, what's 0 times negative 5?
0.
Yeah, anything times 0 is 0, right? What is 0 plus 14?
14.
14.
Yeah.
So that's how we got 14 for yellow y.
Second.
Okay, so now plug in a 1. What's
15.
1 times negative 5?
It'd be negative 5.
What's negative 5 plus 14? Signs are different, so we subtract. Negative 5 plus 14. Signs are different, so we
So it's gonna be 9.
subtract. You get 9, right?
Positive 9.
Positive 9. So if x is 1, yellow is 9. If x is 1 on this equation, what happens? What's 1 minus 10? Negative 9? They tried tricking you right there. Does it look like we broke even?
Yes.
But did we? Good girl. We did not break even. Can't have a negative 9 and a positive 9. They wouldn't cross in the right spot,
So
right?
we're gonna cross at like 9.
We'll see. Keep going. This is B2.
Yeah. 2 times 5.
Negative 5.
5 would be negative 10.
Ooh. Yes, you're right. Negative 10. What's negative 10 plus 14? Signs are different, so we subtract.
So it's 4.
Positive 4. Very good. Okay, now if this was a 2, what's 2 minus 10?
8.
8.
What kind of an 8?
Negative 8.
Okay.
And then 3.
Wait, no, we're gonna cross hairs faster than I thought we were.
It's getting there, isn't it? It's kind of, you can tell it's kind of meeting up closer and closer.
So 3 times 5 would be negative 15.
Negative 15 plus 14.
Would be signs are different, so we subtract.
So
So
it's
it'd be
negative 1.
1.
Okay. And now put the 3 in for this one. What's 3 minus 10?
7. Negative 7.
Negative 7.
Ooh. Wait, are we gonna? I don't know. We're not.
Keep working on it. You're doing a good job. How about 4?
So 4. So then
Negative 20? Would have been negative 20?
For number 4? Or for 4x?
For,
Yeah. So if I put a 4 right here, it would be 4 times negative 5 is negative 20.
yeah.
What's negative 20 plus 14? Signs are different, so we
negative 6.
subtract. And you say it's negative 6?
Positive 6?
No, it's negative, because who's the bigger number?
Oh.
20. Now plug in that 4 for the bottom equation.
4 minus 10 equals
Negative 6.
6.
4 minus 10 is negative 6. Oh, I'm super excited.
4!
Did we find a break even?
Yes.
Woohoo!
4!
So it's gonna be 4, 6.
Okay, so our final answer is going to be an ordered pair. And you're saying the x was 4 and our y's are
6.
Negative 6.
negative 6. Very good. You guys are doing awesome. Now, I think number 3 is the one that I am a little nervous about. Austin, as we were doing number 2, you kept saying, oh, we're getting closer. Oh, we're getting closer. Can you explain to me like what you were seeing in the patterns?
Because it kept going down like way faster than I thought it would.
Okay, but you were saying like what you noticed is these were going up by 1 each time, right? It's like up by plus 1 for real, but really truly it's kind of like numbers going down by 1, right? So as these were going up by 1s, what was happening to these guys?
They're going down by 5.
Yeah, so Austin could see that eventually, if these guys are going downwards and these guys are going upwards, won't eventually we come to something that will cross? Yeah. So Austin was saying, and he was kind of anticipating, he's like, okay, it's going to be coming soon. It's coming soon, right? Keep that in mind when we do the third one, because it won't be coming soon, and I want to show you why. Ready, guys? Make a little...
Keep going on.
I'll show you. Go ahead and make me a chart.
I need to make my chart bigger.
I'm going to color code mine. I feel like color coding is the best thing to do when you guys are first learning it. Eventually, you don't have to color code. You'll get the hang of it. Okay, you ready?
It would just be 0, wouldn't it? 'Cause the
Okay, so yeah, Chevelle's ready. Chevelle says if I plug a 0 in for x, what's going to happen?
So
Just 0.
0. Yeah.
This is just 0, so y, yellow y is 0. If I plug a 0 in for this one, Green y will be
It'd be 1.
1. Okay, so let's keep going. If I plug a 1 in for yellow, it'll be 1. If I plug a 1 in for green, it'll be
2, 3.
3. Very good. If I plug a 2 in, yellow will be 2. What will green be?
5.
Yes. If I plug a 3 in, yellow will be 3. Green will be 7.
7.
Wait.
Ooh, what are you thinking, Austin?
Wait, 1, 2, 3.
They're never gonna match up.
Yeah.
Okay, why do you guys think that?
Should
Because
we flip?
it
They
does
have their own pattern.
Should we put? Like,
So, can I just explain this verbally what you're thinking right now? What you guys are thinking out in your brains. You're telling me this pattern is going up by ones.
Yeah.
This pattern is going up by
Number,
twos.
like,
It's odds, right?
So should we like?
If they're both going up at a rate, will they ever meet?
no.
No. We could be doing this forever. And they'll
It's
never
still not
meet.
gonna meet.
Here's what I want you to realize for a second. We're talking about a coordinate plane here. Are all my points on a coordinate plane always positive? No, I've got I can have negatives, I can have positive negatives, I can have negative positives, right? I have to remember that for a second. So here's what I want you to do. Let me erase my little doodly doodle I just did there. If you can, and you used a pencil, which I hope you did, erase this very carefully and move it over a little bit. Extend your chart. Extend, extend, extend. Here's the scary part about only ever doing a chart like this. If you only do a chart, some kids aren't smart enough to stop themselves and say, wait a second, this is ridiculous. I'll do this forever and they'll never meet up. Some kids will do this until they get to the hundreds and they'll be like, Mrs. Ringler, it's not meeting up. I'd be like, well, doy.
Well, do it.
Yeah,
Instead
you
of
see
going
that
and going and
before.
going, you have to realize, oh my goodness, there's a pattern going on here. They'll never meet up. And if you get to that realization, you know what you need to do? You need to extend your graph and go the opposite direction.
Negative?
Ooh, heck yeah, let's put in a -1. If I plug a -1 in, what's my yellow y?
Negative 1.
Math is magic.
If I put a -1 in for my green equation, what do I get?
Negative 2 minus 1 would equal 0.
So you're saying -2 plus 1, right?
Yeah.
Signs are different, so
Subtract
what's 2 minus 1?
1.
Positive or
Equal
negative?
Right?
Whoa. So it's gonna be -1, -1?
Yes! Did we finally break even?
Yes.
Would we have known to do that?
No.
Holy smokes, we could have gone forever and all we had to do is go backwards 1.
It would be -1, -1.
Yes! My final point is -1 comma -1.
Wait.
Holy smokes. So, if you are deciding, I like tables, they're so fun, that's okay. What do you need to remember though?
That's me.
You need to remember that a
Go
table
backwards.
works both ways, correct? You know what I used to do as a 7th grader when doing these? When I would first make my tables, instead of okay, so here's my x, here's my y, right? Instead of starting at 0, you know what I always did?
Start at negative.
I split my graph, I would start 0 in the middle. And that way I got a little taste of what my negatives would look like and what my positives would look like, so I know which way I needed to go. I would start at 0, then do -1, 1, do -2, 2. And then that way you can figure out okay, I can see a pattern, eventually they'll meet up this way, or eventually they'll meet up this way, okay? If tables go on forever, because we are very, very lucky that these 3 tables happen to end very soon. But what happens if the point was actually like this? What if it was -20, comma 30?
Oh gosh.
That means your table went on for 30 things. Can you imagine plugging in 30 things just to find this one point?
You would have to do it this way.
I highly suggest if your table is getting past 8, 9, and 10, like you've plugged in 8, 9, and 10 for x, and your table is getting this long, stop, go graph the 2 lines,
Yeah.
and just see where they meet, okay? How would I graph these lines? First, I'd find the y-intercept, plug it in, go do the
What?
slope.
Isn't the
What?
y-intercept just 1?
So like look at these two right here. Let me erase my markings around them. This slope is 1 over 1. The y-intercept is 0, right? If I had this graph,
Right.
I'd put a y-intercept at 0, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1.
Yeah.
That'd be my line. Now what is this one? What's the y-intercept of
2 over 1.
2 over 1's the slope.
Start at 1.
Start at 1 and go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. I could also go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, right?
They're parallel, aren't they?
But
No.
you're gonna meet down here.
Right. So eventually they'll cross. And
'Cause
remember we
I
found
think
where they
it's
crossed?
better to see that
Where
on
did
a
they cross?
On a line graph.
-1.
And even though that is a rough sketch, does it look like it's -1, -1?
Yeah.
Graphs
Yeah.
are superior.
Graphs versus tables?
Yes.
I agree. The only time I don't like graphing is when you are sketching it like this.
Yeah.
Too much room for error.
Yeah.
You have to have graph paper and you have to be very, very precise, correct? That's the only time a graph can fail you, is if you're sketching it like this. Which is why I highly suggest I have that cubby over there full of graph paper that you guys just always have some ready for homework, okay? Now I'm going to stop this video pretty soon because we're getting kind of, the time's ticking on by. But you're still not done with your homework. Your homework continues on to page 205, okay? What is the difference between 4, 5, and 6 compared to 1, 2, and 3? Yeah, what do you notice?
Well, they're not the right thing.
They're not in...
Y.
Yes! Guys, look at 4, 5, and 6. They're not in y equals
So you
mx
have to,
plus
like,
b.
switch it around.
Yes! But
Like
do we know
you-
how to switch around?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Easily.
you add 4, right? Add.
Well, this is in y equals mx plus b.
No, so you'll have
It's
to like
this one. Whoops. It's
add
this
that.
one who's not in y equals mx plus b,
So
right?
wouldn't you have to move everything?
Yeah.
Just move the x over here. How would I do that?
Minus x?
Yep, subtract x. Now it's in y equals mx plus b form.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right.